Multi-vector integration is Kazakhstan's chosen course of development in the program Single Market.
3 stages must be completed to get to a destination, such as a well-defined route, finding reliable fellow travelers, and hit the road. Hello, my name is Pavel Koktishev, and you're watching the Single Market program. Coming up, EEU Services Single Market. Game rules at the transition stage. Solar and technology cooperation energy. Solar power plant project at the southeast of Kazakhstan. And Navigator right now, digital economy.
Здравствуйте, я Александр Галиев, и сегодня...
Hello, I'm Alexander Galiev. Today's Navigator is steering for the digital economy. Classical interpretation of the digital economy runs, it is the digital technologies-based economic activity. It is not about software development and sales or PC production, but it's more likely about the electronic services and electronic business. In other words, in mentioning the digital economy, it is likely relevant to mean the new or digitally transformed standard business processes. As estimated by the World Bank, a share of the digital economy is 4 to 5% of the global GDP. Here it is strange, though it may appear. The IMF is not recommending overrating its importance, as the major portion of the world economy is traditional and analogous still.
Посмотрим, каковы перспективы цифровой экономики в Казахстане.
Let's review the digital economy prospects in Kazakhstan. Unavailability of the conventional techniques causes the different assessment results. Limits of the digital economy and its volume in the country constitute one of the most contentious issues. Here it was estimated through the taxes paid by the legal entities. It turned out that the result of 2015 could be 230 billion Kazakh tenge. Based on this amount, and considering the fact that the nominal GDP in Kazakhstan in 2015 was about 41 billion Kazakh tenge, the experts' calculation was 0.6%. According to the experts, this is the very share of the digital economy of the national GDP. By the way, it is relevant to note that locally its volume has grown more than 7 times in the last 5 years.
По оценке Boston Consulting Group, Kazakhstan находится...
According to the Boston Consulting Group, globally, Kazakhstan takes 50th place in terms of the digital economy among the 85 countries. For reference, Russia takes 39th place in the list. In this connection, annually, Kazakhstani E-Intensity Index is growing by 23%. As noted by the experts, basic internet infrastructure has been established in Kazakhstan and a high level of internet penetration among households has been achieved. At the same time, there's a low level of online trading. It is only 0.5% of the total retail sales. The Russian index is much higher, it is 3.3%.
И этот показатель намного выше, 3,3%.
To increase the digital economy, Kazakhstan is recommended by the experts of the Boston Consulting Group, Kazakhstan, to modernize the legislation and promote online transactions. In conclusion, today's world is economically challenged as never before. Behavior that was formed and practiced for many decades and even centuries starts to lose ground. Digital business processes appear to be faster, cheaper, and more advantageous. These circumstances are a great change to create a leap forward to arrange favorable conditions to develop the digital economy. That's all I have for the moment. See you in the single market.
До встречи в Single Market.
Economy moving up the technological ladder will encounter the challenges, especially shorter and more regular cycle of economic and global downturn. And with each downturn more volatile than the past. One long-term fear includes large-scale replacement of human labor by intelligent machines. Therefore, there needs to be a focus on creativity, as one of my fellow speakers have touched on. Culture and the human touch can help the future economy to remain inclusive, to guide planning in key areas of education and capability development, infrastructure and communication networks, labor relations and external markets. And that the fruits of that growth accrue to as many people in the city, in the case in Kazakhstan, to the people in the country as much as possible. Hence, dynamic urban governance supported by an integrated approach to master planning is essential to guide our development and for development for other cities.
Сектор услуг в Евразийском экономическом...
The service sector of the Eurasian Economic Union is the most extensive, though, like in any other economic association, it covers the different sectors and segments like services in agriculture and forestry, in construction, trade and tourism, electric power industry and transportation. In real terms of EEU, this market is still developing, but considering its scopes, it promises the integration partner countries to bring good results in the long term. A floor to our Moscow correspondent. Formation of a single market for services was one of the conditions of economic integration. This process within the Eurasian Economic Union bears importance for a number of reasons. The main one is that the share of this market is the gross domestic products of countries of the Eurasian Economic Union and is more than 50%. What's more, experts note the expansion tendency of this sector. This is happening due to the introduction of new types of services and increases in volumes. Today, the single market for services includes 43 sectors that are subject to the condition of the step-by-step introduction of a free trade regime and gradual removal of limitations and barriers. This is an inevitable stage of the formation of a common space due to wide discrepancies in the initial and subsequent positions of the participating countries. The list of such limitations and barriers is getting shorter, especially in the recent times. Nevertheless, some problems remain.
Сокращается и существенно сократился за последнее время. Тем не менее, проблемы остаются.
That is why, in order to reduce cost and risk that may arise on this market, the Eurasian Economic Union member countries agreed on the introduction of a differentiated approach. The market for services is divided into three so-called baskets. The first includes services to which the principle of mutual license recognition automatically applies. In the second basket, there are types of services for which a transition period is envisioned. Each country decides on its own to which types of services the regime of a transition period applies. For example, Kazakhstan has identified for itself a number of spheres which require more time to be ready. These entail trade, franchising, hotel business, food services, and sound recording services, such as construction. The third basket includes so-called horizontal services. This entails strategic sectors and cases when issues of national security are in question. Everywhere it is clearly stated, here we see an advantage in integration. Here, for now, we'll try to realize our own programs. Everything that concerns harmonization of the rules of the game on the market. This is axiomatic. That is why it is necessary to learn to set priorities. Today, among such priorities are relief of service providers from duplicate establishment as a legal person, mutual recognition of decisions, licenses, and qualifications. By the way, limits on the hiring of personnel across the territory of the Eurasian Economic Union countries are minimal. They're implemented only in specific sectors and concern specific job positions. For example, the chief editor of mass media entities, there are certain limitations with regards to the citizenship of the person in question. The same in the case of a position of a forensic expert or in the sphere of nuclear energy. Experts believe that coordination of the functioning of a single market for transport services greatly depends on the development of entrepreneurship. Precisely this market is capable of generating a multiplier effect for businesses across the Eurasian Economic Union. Any enterprise that is interconnected in some way in terms of raw materials or labor force, and of course depending on the length of the period required for delivering the product to the end consumer on the domestic and foreign markets, as this includes China and the European Union, countries of Asia, whether this is Iran, Vietnam, or Egypt. A lot depends on the shipment periods. There's a significant number of problems that need to be resolved for the liberalization of the market for transport services. For example, questions regarding automobile transportation, and there are still barriers in the sphere of cargo transit. At the Eurasian Economic Commission, it is believed that removal of these white spots is a matter of time. The notorious transition period is a tough, but at the same time, objective reality which inevitably accompanies every process of integration. The agreement of the Eurasian Economic Union includes a number of lengthy passages, one way or another, addressing the functioning of the single market for services. That is why when we say single market for services, we mean common understanding of the integration process, and vice versa. Elena Polyakova, Denis Fokin, Moscow, exclusively for Single Market.
Возобновляемые источники в этой сфере...
Renewable sources. Today, this field of electric power industry is very active to attract and involve foreign investments and technologies. This is primarily due to the global green economy format. The solar power plant project implemented under the Russian Kazakhstan Nanotechnology Venture Fund program is one of the most successful examples in Kazakhstan. Our correspondent Oksana Trofimova has visited this facility. Sun is not only an inexhaustible and accessible energy source of the planet, it is a safe and advanced technology that are actively developed today in different parts of the world. This solar power plant, SPP, is not the biggest in the country, but this very power plant is testing the best solar know-how to implement them in the future. Capacities of the power plant constructed just over 2 years ago at the outskirts of Kapshigai town in the Almaty region are 2 million watts. Capability of Kapshigai SPP in the power generation is low both for the global renewable energy market and for Kazakhstan. However, the experts justifiably call it the RES Innovation Testing Laboratory. Division of the solar power plant into 2 parts in a ratio 2:1 is one of the examples which is unique in the CIS and is
стационарная часть и трекерная часть.
fixed part and tracker part. Tracker part is tracking the sun. It has 2 integrated sensors, wind and sun sensors. Fixed part has 5,616 modules, and the tracker part is 2,516 modules.
5616 модулей. А трекерная часть 2516.
A Slovenian company has supplied the photovoltaic modules for this project, except for a small section where the Kazakh modules were tested over several months. Results of many months of testing are encouraging. This innovation implemented in Kazakhstan this spring is considered as the most demanding at the local market. Kapshigai had started to test the energy cell energy storage system, a battery invented by the Start Uper company based in the famous Silicon Valley. The actual patent holder and developer of these technologies is the Primus Power Company. It is an American technology which is currently supported and financed by the Kazakhstani and Russian funds. These investments, more exactly $5 million, are allocated through the Russian Kazakhstan Nanotechnology Venture Fund, jointly founded by Kazna Capital Management and Rosnano. The main goal of this project is to create high-tech industries within the friendly country's territory. The Kapshigai power plant unique battery may promote and push a new branch in Kazakhstan, production of the high-tech batteries. Besides, there are many preconditions. Availability of the raw materials is one of them. First of all, availability of titanium and iron. The proven reserves which are locally available is more than enough. The local manufacturers have promised not to fail. Management of Samruk Energo had a meeting with the management of Uskamenogorsk titanium magnesium plant to seek a possibility to manufacture such titanium plates. So conceptually, it is interesting for both parties. It is planned to start new production of the energy storage systems in Astana, Janakala, a special economic zone of the Kazakh capital city. Through the alternative energy, they are also planning to significantly expand the country's power capacities. The specialists will be supported both by the new technologies and experience gained at the so-called solar testing site, the Kapshigai power plant. For 2 years, the power plant has achieved good statistical information concerning the dust level, solar isolation, and wind power. For the moment, all this data is used in the engineering and design of a new power plant, 50 MW. A new solar power plant will be locally available in the next 2 years. An area of 500 hectares was allotted for this purpose. The technical documentation package had already been approved long before the construction started by the Kazakh company, Kazakhstan Electricity Grid Operating Company, for the future power plant integration into the Kazakhstani national grid. Just think. Just another 30 to 40 years later, the solar energy could provide up to 25% of mankind's needs in the power supply, reduce CO2 emissions, and even, according to some estimates, cover the traditional energy sources by using the current technology generation rates. Step by step, Kazakhstan is going ahead by contributing to the development of the eco-friendly renewable sources and gaining the energy of the future. Oksana Trofimova, Anatoly Valyutsky, with a special report for Single Market. That's all for today. I'm Pavel Koktashev. Let me remind you, you can find all our episodes at www.kazakh-tv.kz. See you in the next Single Market, the territory without borders.